Hey y'all, this is Erica with Students of Life Podcast. If you're finding value in the Students of Life Podcast, we'd love your support. Your support allows us to grow and continue bringing you meaningful content. You can show your support by checking out our exclusive merchandise at studentsoflifepodcast.com. Every purchase not only gives you something unique to wear, but also directly fuels the podcast growth. Prefer to donate? That's cool. Just hit the donate button on our homepage. Every bit of support helps us expand, reach more listeners, and dive even deeper into the topics that matter most to you.
Welcome to the Students of Life Podcast. And I am your host, Courtney. And with me is my lovely wife, Erica.
Hi.
How you doing, wife?
I'm good, husband. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You just celebrated a birthday, didn't you?
I did. I'm a whole 38 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You're knocking on 40's door.
You beat me to it.
Yeah, I did, but that's okay. But you got to celebrate your 38th birthday after you got home, right?
Yes.
After you got home from leaving me to be a single father for a whole week by myself.
Oh my God.
Yes, you did. You left me to be a single father all by myself.
I was at work.
I was a single dad.
I was at work.
You single mothers, I don't know how you do it.
Oh my God.
I don't know how you do it.
Wait, not only did I leave you, I cooked for y'all before I left.
Partially cooked.
Partially my ass.
Partially, okay? Yeah.
Why are you lying to these people?
Like you cook a meal and something. You didn't complete that all the way.
So you're going to lie like that to these people? You're going to lie to these people like that?
You like made a meal and some tuna fish, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like complete. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you going with? I wish I could see your face right now. Oh, you such a lying shit. I talk to y'all every day. I FaceTimed y'all every day. I was there, just not physically. I wish you would.
Man, look, you left me to be a single father, and I don't appreciate that.
Xavier's clothes were picked out for the whole week, all the way down to underwear and socks. All you had to do was choose what shoes he was going to wear. I made Jay get her stuff together before I left to make it easier. I bought breakfast stuff for her in the mornings. Are you serious right now?
But I had to do everything else, though. I had to do it all.
I take Zay to school. You do that every day
all
anyway.
by myself. Can you believe this? Can't believe you.
You take Zay to school every day anyway.
Yeah.
All you did was pick him up and bring him home and put food in the microwave.
This single parent thing, I don't know if we can do this, Erica.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Lord have mercy. This is why I be saying people need therapy.
Are you trying to say I need therapy?
I'm trying to say you are delulu. That's what I'm saying.
Look, I don't appreciate this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But we need to work on this. You know, we need to work on our communication and you being more present as a parent, okay? And as a wife.
How about you be a stay-at-home dad and then we'll make it work?
I don't know about that.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's get into this episode, all right? More so just to get into the episode, is there anything that's been plaguing you, anything on your mind, anything?
Everything with me has been really good. Shout out to self. Finished my life coaching certifications.
Okay.
So Students of Life, we are now also life coaches at this point.
Okay.
Kind of proud of that.
Yeah, we've been putting in work.
We have, behind the scenes, little quiet work.
Yeah.
Slight work, if you will.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
No, other than that, everything is pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Just all right?
Yeah, just all right. It was more so out of concern for, political climate right now.
Yeah, that's depressing.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's frightening, honestly.
Yeah, it's a place that I never saw us being. And so it's not even just my family I think about. I'm thinking about other people too in this process. You know, the damage that's being caused to multiple people across our nation. And then eventually, you know, depending on how bad it gets, it could be
worldwide.
Correct. Worldwide, because, you know, we're so interconnected today. So
yeah.
So to me that is concerning.
Yeah, it's concerning, but I think, as you always say, that's not something that we can dwell on because we can't change it.
No, we can't dwell on it, but at the same time, it's still, I guess the best way I can describe it, play things like with our episode. It does play into our episode to a degree.
It does.
It does, and so before we even get into that, I guess the episode is about self-discovery, and I'm pretty sure somebody like, how the hell does politics coincide with self-discovery?
Stay tuned.
Well, we'll stay tuned, but I don't mind explaining it right now either. Just because of how things have transpired, because I don't understand how we have made these decisions, against our own self-interest. And so what that would mean is who we are sometimes, it's not sometimes, sometimes. Who we are sometimes is because of external factors.
Yeah.
So say, for instance, somebody is a Democrat or a Republican, right? Are you a Democrat or a Republican because you chose to be one, or is that your affiliation based off of how you were raised? Is that tradition? So that's a question I have.
So, okay, I'm glad you brought that up, right? I have a question, statement, whatever you want to call it about that. I'm often talking about traditions and how we need to break them, right? But I do believe that despite what we think sometimes, a lot of people and their political views are tied to tradition. Like, well, my family's always been a Democrat, or my family's always been a Republican. Why would I vote any different now? That's one of those things you might want to look at.
Yeah. I don't understand how, say for instance, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, no matter what it is that you choose to be, how can you vote against your own self-interest? Your own best self-interest, even, just to hold up a political affiliation. So say, for instance, if Democrats don't serve me, why do I vote that if it doesn't serve not just me, but my family or my culture or the nation as a whole?
Because you don't think about it. You go to the polling booth, you look for people with the R beside their name, and you just click the button because that's what you've always done.
Yeah.
It's what your dad did. It's how your mom voted or how your grandparents voted. That's what you do.
And so that's just like you and I. We have these discussions at home, okay? We have these discussions at home about not having a divided home. Like you voting Republican or I vote Democrat or vice versa. We have these discussions because it's just like going to the casino, playing roulette, betting on black and red at the same time.
Betting against yourself.
Betting against yourself, you never win.
Yep.
You never win.
Yep.
So just imagine a sports team, okay? You got a sports team. Everybody loves their sports team.
The Cowboys.
Correct. Even when they're losers.
For 2 decades. Yeah, keep going.
Even if they're losers, they love that. But say, for instance, in a world of politics, it's dangerous. It's more dangerous.
It is.
The reason it's more dangerous is because the team that you end up defending sometimes can end up hurting you. We can still defend the team that hurts us the most, even just to hold up an identity of what we believe we are. And to get into what we're talking about as far as this topic, is self-discovery. Is this who you really are? Or is this something that was put on you? You can't be against yourself.
Well, and what you're saying directly relates to what the definition of self-discovery is.
Okay.
Right? So self-discovery is the process of understanding your true self, your values, your needs and wants. It's also the process. It's about peeling away the many layers we created to mask our past, our fears, our pain. Once these are recognized, the healing process begins, along with the rebuilding process, beginning with our core values, beliefs, and attitudes that are more consistent with our dreams, aspirations, and purpose. So what we're saying is you voting or you betting against yourself is going to require you to take a deep dive into self and ask, why am I self-sabotaging? What am I doing?
And we're fixing to get ready to move into this. But it's kind of like what's happening in like this right here, Erica, in Nebraska. You know what's going on in Nebraska right now?
I didn't know that till last night when you told me, but yeah.
Correct, with the farmers. Like, I think it was Nebraska. Yeah, it's Nebraska. In 2 quarters, they're looking at possibly the state going bankrupt.
So 2 quarters equaling 6 months.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, about 6 months.
Okay.
It's a possibility they're going bankrupt because they voted, Republican, and so all the immigrants are leaving, or they've been picked up, or they just won't come.
So, but Nebraska, just to clarify, to make sure I'm right, or my thinking is right, it's a rural state, right? Like agriculture is their big thing.
That's
in Nebraska,
what they do.
Right?
Ranches, farms.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's what they do. Majority of the work being done there was done by undocumented workers.
So they voted against the people that were keeping their ranches and farms going.
That is correct.
That's so intelligent.
And then afterwards, they end up saying, man, I don't know why I did this. I voted against my own self-interest.
You don't say.
These are the literal words. Voted against my own self-interest.
Well, it sounds like they need to peel back some layers, don't it?
They got some layers to peel. Because that's exactly what they did. They voted not only against his individual self-interest, but the self-interest of the family and the surrounding area. They all did. So they do have some serious ass discovering to do. We go into the question, Erica. The question, since we're here.
Okay.
Do you or have you ever really wondered actually or know who we are? Have you ever really wondered that?
I have, yeah.
And not even just from your point, from a broad perspective, like, damn, do we really know who we are?
Yeah, I ask that question all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us honestly don't. But again, right, that goes back to school, because when you're in school, you're taught a certain school of thought, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So think about it like this. You have a kid who is brilliant, right? Whether that be creatively, whether that be scholarly, or whether this kid just has a very brilliant, beautiful personality, right? When you go to school, you're put into a box, right? It's like a box of crayons, except the colors are no longer vibrant. The top keeps being closed for so long that the colors start to dull, right? And over time, what you once were, you're not anymore. Example, you have a child that's a creative. You give them critical thinking test. They think critically about whatever question you're asking them, right? But yet there's a right and a wrong answer when you ask them to think critically.
But it's not critical thinking then.
It's not, but there's a right or a wrong answer in that teacher's book to grade by. Or you have a child who is a creative, right? Mm-hmm. This child loves to draw, loves to paint, loves to color, loves to dance, whatever, right? You put them into a box and say, no, you're gonna excel in mathematics instead. But I won't. That's not what I do. This child could have learned mathematics, could have learned science, and coupled that with their creativity and been an amazing inventor. But now we'll never know.
You're familiar with the movie The Truman Show, right?
I am, yes. It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah.
All right. Whether you have or not, we understood the gist of the movie.
Yeah.
His whole existence was a big-ass lie.
Yeah.
That's what this was. So
his life was somewhat scripted.
It was scripted. The life that he lived wasn't what he thought it was. It was created by the people that were surrounding him.
Yes.
Upholding his lie, and he had to find a way to break through on his own. He had to see that he was being lied to. Mm-hmm. By the end of the movie. That's what it was. And so a big part of who we are, is built up by habits, expectations, and worst case scenarios, survival modes.
Oh, that's, yeah.
So that's a rough place to be in, for our existence to be that right there. And so we believe that's who we are. So when I ask, like, damn, do we really know who we are? That's a harsh question, because we don't know who we are, because we define ourselves by so many things that's surrounded by us.
I guess here is my thought on that, right? It would be, if we're going to talk about it from the stance of the Truman Show, then that kind of goes directly into what I was saying, right?
Okay.
Because you are giving children, or people, we'll just say people in general, right? You're giving them a thought process by which they need to live that's not their own.
Correct.
And in doing that, you're causing them more harm than good. you know, because from what I recall from the Truman Show, he wasn't okay when he found out his whole life was a lie.
He wasn't okay. And in that process, throughout the movie, he knew that something was off.
Right. He knew something was wrong.
He knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
And I believe that's the story of our life, to a degree. It's the lies that we tell ourselves.
But are they lies that we're telling ourselves, or are these lies that were told or sold to us?
That's a good question, Erica. Or that's a good point to be made. But maybe we don't really know.
I don't think we do.
Initially, maybe we don't know. Maybe we aren't what we believe we are.
Correct.
I guess it's maybe the qualities that make us up ain't what we never really imagined. So like those strengths that we would perceive that we have, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe they're not strengths. Maybe those strengths are something that we created.
So you think our strengths are our weaknesses?
Depending on what they are, yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, like what?
Okay. Say, for instance, you say that you're a good person, right?
Yeah.
You're a good person. But we say that that's our strength because I'm a good person. That's the strength. On the backside of that, you're a good person because you don't want to take up for yourself. You don't want to defend yourself.
Oh, so you think I would be calling, not me, full disclosure, damn sure ain't me, but so you think that someone who is a people pleaser would define themselves as a good person because they lack the ability for conflict?
That is correct. And of course, that always comes from somewhere.
Correct.
That comes from somewhere. Or say, for instance, the man, because I always will say, he's the loner.
Like a lone wolf?
Like the lone wolf. Mm-hmm. And we truly have those guys, But maybe though that being a lone wolf originated from, abandonment issues. Because you never thought because people always left you. So you learned how to be a lone wolf and you made that look like it was a strength. Like, I love being alone.
And I'm glad you brought that point up, right? Because I think that us saying that we are independent people or that we are lone wolves or that we are extremely resilient, right? These types of descriptors, they're dangerous.
That is correct.
Because all of them hold some kind of toxic past. No one, think about it, right? If you have children, when your child is small, they gravitate toward people, right? As long as you're a good parent, they're going to always do that. They're going to know how to make friends, know how to socialize. You'll grow up knowing how to be a productive member of society and not an asshole. Mm-hmm. Now, on the flip side of that, right, you have people who, like you said, may have been abandoned in some way. Abandonment creates a lot of issues, both mental, psychological, sometimes even physically, right? The fact that maybe a woman feels like she has to be independent. Maybe she saw her grandmother being a single mother, doing everything on her own and somehow making it happen. She's strong. She's resilient. So in my mind, that's what I think a woman is.
So, say for instance, like with this, if we're defining ourselves as these things, it's an illusion. At this point,
it's an illusion for
this
sure.
right here is an illusion. What is the impact of this illusion? What do you think the impact of this would be?
I think it's a very negative impact. And I believe that, again, this is just my belief, people that I've talked to, mm-hmm. But my belief is that it keeps you guarded and it shuts people out. And in shutting people out, you have made it seem as though being a lone wolf or whatever is what you should be. Because I knew people weren't shit anyway. But that's not true. You're afraid to give people a chance.
But the lone wolf thing right there. Say, for instance, if, like being a lone wolf, there's a real problem that comes with that. It's because when you think that you have to do everything alone, you really don't grow as well as you should sometimes. Because so much is required to to build a network and to be successful these days.
Yes.
Some people, I'm not saying that people who are lone wolves can't do that. I'm not saying that. But so much of what we build today, like having a network and being successful, it requires other people.
Community.
Right. And not having that ability to have those social skills, it can impede on reaching those goals.
Well, so think about it like this, right? If you think back to Neanderthals, cavemen, like way, way back when, right? We've always been communal creatures. We've always had a village mentality or mind state. That's how we survived. So I'm not sure at which time society shifted. But when it did, it's had very negative impacts. That's what
American.
Well, of course, yes. I know that for a fact. It's American culture, right?
Yep.
It's I can't wait to grow up and get out of my parents' house. Why?
I can tell you why. Because it was put out by some of the adults.
No, I mean, you're laughing, but that's true. But but not everybody's put out. Some people have it great at home, but choose to leave.
Yeah,
that's a fact too. I know people like that. Like we both know folks like that. Mm-hmm. So no, it's not always. Oh, I was put out. No, that's not it. You're a dumbass. You left when you could have stayed. Like you left when you were 18, but you could have stayed till you were 30 and got on your feet and had goo gobs of money because your parents would have helped you fund college and whatever else. But you chose to follow your friends or society and be like, I can do this shit on my own. Yeah, and now you're mad at your folks because you're struggling. Yeah, you're a dumbass.
But that's not always the case.
Being put out isn't either, though.
It's true. But as far as what I know, not because I lived it, but because of what I've seen it a lot.
I mean, I have too, but it's still two sides to every coin.
Yeah, I do. I get it. I'm just saying, the anomaly for what I've seen is that parents don't want their kids to stay at home. And along this is that about, discovering self in this process. How do we go about discovering self like this then?
So I think it depends on your scenario, right? Honestly, as messed up as this may sound, if we're speaking about people who are put out at an early age, unfortunately, they can't afford to do that. They don't have time to sit back and think and wonder who I am, what should I be, what can I be, what could I be. If you're put out and you're made to fend for yourself, then what happens to you at that point is, I got to figure this shit out. I got bills to pay now. Never paid a bill in my life, but now I got bills to pay.
So what you're saying, too, is that a big part of this illusion is a response to pain.
Trauma. Yeah, that's what I said. Absolutely.
It's a response to pain.
Yeah.
So the illusion and the lie is a pain response.
Pain, trauma, yeah.
Okay. So what are we? Say, for instance, if we strip it all, if we have nothing else, if everything is gone, okay? If people are to find who they are, if we got to start over from scratch to a degree, you don't have the labels, the titles, the job, the home, the cars. Mm-hmm. You don't have any of these things that make you who you believe you are. The husband, wife, father, son, daughter. How do you introduce yourself? And that's me saying, this is who I really am. How do you introduce yourself? How does one do that?
I mean, I don't know. Are you asking me specifically?
So,
because you're speaking in general here, bud. I can't answer that one.
Okay, well, so I'll do that one directly then. So, Erica, how would you introduce yourself? If it's all gone.
If it's all gone, and if I were to put me and who I am and all of my pieces in front of you, right? I would not be afraid to tell you that I'm Erica, and all that encompasses me would be I am a lover, I'm a fighter of both good and bad things, right? I can sometimes be argumentative. Shut your face. I can sometimes be argumentative. I have the ability to bring people together, to help people find the best versions of themselves. I can push people past their breaking points, but in a very positive way. I can help people to be the very best versions of themselves. I am an advocate. I advocate for those that I care about to the very end. I am also sometimes afraid of things, right? I still do them scared, but that does not stop the fact that I am afraid when I am doing them. So I guess in a way that would make me somewhat courageous or stupid, depending on how you look at it.
No, I call that being human.
I am honestly, and this is not me being arrogant, but I am probably a part of the best side of humanity.
I think you are. I mean, because I'd say that you're the best side of me. You are everything that I can't be. I will say that. You know, like I'm empathetic to a degree. To a degree, I'm being honest.
Are you?
To a degree, and I'm not gonna lie.
Like the first degree?
Yeah,
Love this honesty tonight.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. But you are the things that I can't be. You make up.
Yeah. Well, that's also the purpose of marrying someone, right?
Yeah,
You're not supposed to marry the person who is exactly like you. You marry someone who makes you better, who pushes you to be better, who can teach you something.
yeah, yeah, and to understand those things, we have to really strip ourselves apart sometimes. But I think it's difficult.
Yeah. It's hard.
I believe it's difficult, and I don't believe that we actually know that that's a thing that we need to do.
So I agree with you, right? And that being the case, that is why, I always advocate for a life coach. So I became a life coach. I always advocate, go to therapy, go sit on that woman or that man's couch. You need help, right? And, in doing so, you go there for one thing, but if they're good at their job, they're going to help you unravel everything else that causes that one thing. And in doing that, that's where your transformation begins.
Yeah, I get it. But you have to find a good one.
Oh, God, yes. There are terrible ones out here.
Yeah, but, it's a good example, again, because I'm always talking about a movie just to make these topics relatable. This goes into the movie Fight Club.
Love that movie.
What the whole movie was about. That, the main character had to strip himself all the way down of all material goods because that's what the movie was really about, about stripping apart oneself of his material or her material possessions. So he's not tied down by reality. So he or she can become whatever they need to be and not because of these material aspects of life that we believe we need. And so what he ended up doing was creating the character in his head, Tyler Durden. That's what he did. He stripped all that down to find out who he was at his core. And that was a hell of a transformation for a character. And sometimes that's the journey, what we have to go on. We just don't know how to do it. I mean, even with me throughout my life, I went on that journey. I went on that journey to a degree as well. And it wasn't an easy one.
No.
Because I didn't have help. I had to find it out on my own.
Well, so here is the other side to that, right? You have a lot of people who are anti-therapy, who are anti-help, who are, I can do this shit on my own. We don't call no names, Courtney.
I don't appreciate that look that you're giving me. I don't appreciate that.
But on the other side of that, though, right? There are ways to go about this where you can have help, and by help I mean, like I said before, like a therapist or somebody who can help you peel back those layers one or two at a time and do it in a healthy manner. Or you have those people, like me and you, who are like, fuck it, YOLO, light it all on fire. Where's the match and the kerosene?
Oh, that's some Dark Knight shit right there.
I mean, but I've done that, and so have you, right? It wasn't the best thing. It wasn't the best thing to do, but I do believe that it gave us somewhat of a head start.
That's because we didn't know it was something that needed to be done.
We didn't.
It happened on its own.
It happened from a traumatic experience.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it happened. The best parts of us always emerges because of the challenge that we face. It always emerges because of the hurt or the pain that we feel. It never emerges because everything was always good, because it was always easy. But sometimes that's what we do.
Well, I think as humans, right, speaking of self-discovery, the main thing that I have learned through talking to people, through my own life experience is pain. Pain is always a catalyst for change.
It has to. On discomfort.
Yeah. Being uncomfortable, being pushed out of your element. These things are the main catalyst for change. And I'm not saying that, from a point of, oh my God, all change is great. No, because we just sat here and we just told you. We set some shit ablaze.
Yeah.
Like, you could very much so have called us Joker from the Dark Knight at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not being funny, but it's funny now. It wasn't funny at all then, but it's funny now. And being able to come back from that. But the downside to that, too, is you and I are very resilient because we are far too stubborn to let something beat us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
I'm dealing with pains right now because I'm stubborn.
you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm almost 2 decades later. Yeah.
Yeah. Dealing with pains from my 20s because of stupid shit I did.
Yeah.
I'm still living with that. But hey, I'm all right with that. I wear that shit as a badge of honor.
Thank God for ibuprofen. Leave. But seriously though, it's the best way I can describe this is from a Memphian standpoint, right? It's despite what you go through, as long as you got that dog in you and that grit and grind in you, you'll be okay. But this episode is more geared toward the people who don't, right? It's how do you peel back those layers so that you can discover who and what you should have been? What does that look like? How do I do that?
I never thought about it this before, but just imagine you have an individual who's successful. Mm-hmm. I believe that what we label as successful, whether it's money, cars, the home, and all that stuff. I still believe that you can have an individual like that and they still don't know who the hell they are.
Oh, it happens every day.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. That just means I found a way to make myself wealthy. Doesn't mean you know who you are.
Yeah, they still may not know because, say, for instance, they have certain parts of themselves that's missing, like love, care, compassion.
And most people who are uber successful lack those exact things.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this isn't, a money thing. I don't want people to believe or think that this is a, success, or discovering oneself has to do anything with monetary success. And we've said this before in earlier podcasts. I think we said this something similar to this in the episode about purpose. Finding out who you are is never tied to money.
No, it's not.
It's about your happiness. It's about you being happy with who you are. This is what this is. About fixing those missing pieces to yourself. And this one has me thinking about regrets a little bit too. What we regret defines us more than the things we regret we've done.
Okay, so what regret do you have that defines you? Or defines you if it still does?
The thing that defines me would be that I didn't think big enough.
Elaborate.
So I was creative my whole life. Mm-hmm. Creative my whole life. And it's not that I never did what I wanted to do in my career. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I never thought big enough about doing it. And what that means is this right here. Say, for instance, you got an individual who thinks small, then you got an individual who thinks very big, right? On one hand, the person who thinks small achieves everything that they wanted, achieves their goals. But on the other hand, the person who thought extremely big didn't achieve their goal. Although the person who thought big may not have achieved their goal, they still achieved more than the person who thought small. And so with me, my issue is that I thought too small and I did it for too long. And so my regret is that I didn't think huge or think a lot bigger earlier on.
Okay, so part 2 of that question, because I know you, right? What is it that happened to you or that caused you to have that small way of thinking or that boxed in thinking? What stopped it?
Honestly, it was just how I was raised. Honestly, and it's not an excuse. I mean, throughout my life, I had a decision I possibly could have made that could have made any of this better. But I held on to beliefs that weren't mine on how to navigate this life. And so I didn't know who I was at that point. So, yes, I do have a regret that I just didn't think large enough. But that came from upbringing. Go to work, have a good job, and take care of your responsibilities. That's where it came from. It didn't have much room to think big. It was don't take risk. Think small, play it safe. But playing it safe never gets you where you want to get, ever. You will get something, don't get it wrong, and you'll probably even reach your goal, but it'll never be what you were seeking. You're going to always wish and wish for that and wish for more. And not because, of course, you know how I feel about more. More has to be defined. Mm-hmm. But we could have done better. And we know we could have done better if we had taken the risk. And so the regret, honestly, is that right there, is that I didn't think big enough because the risks I took weren't big enough either. You only get what you risk. If you risk big, you win big too.
That goes into, the school of thought of high risk, high reward. I do believe in that. And I believe that if you play your cards right and you risk it all, you'll double or triple your winnings. Mm-hmm. But being raised in fear, that's a great example that you gave, because I think a lot of people are raised that way. Personally, I wasn't. I was raised by Larry.
Yeah.
And he was very, if you want to do it, do it. If it's on your mind to do it, do it. What's going to happen? The worst you can do is fall on your ass and I'll be here to pick you up. And, I'm I'm a mother to our daughter, and I raised her that frame of thinking too. It's, if you fall, I'll always be here to pick you up. But a lot of people, unfortunately, don't have that. So they grow up in this teeny tiny box, right? And say you graduate high school, you graduate college, you're like 25, 26 years old, you're graduating college, and now you're getting to the workforce, and you're afraid to negotiate for yourself. You're afraid to speak up for yourself. You're afraid to ask for a seat at a table that you know you deserve.
That's correct.
So you lead your whole life in fear. And then one day, you get tired of being pushed around. You get tired of being pushed over. You get tired of being treated like shit. And now your entire life has caused you to go fucking postal. People are like, I don't know where it came from. He was so quiet. That person was shit on his whole life. And it started in his childhood, and he had no idea how to peel back those layers.
That's correct.
He never had a chance to figure out who he was, but he had one defining moment that defined his whole life and what he could have been. He'll never be, because he was boxed in far too early and kept there.
Regrets is proof that you betrayed yourself.
I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, explain that one.
It's so say for instance, like me. I'm using me for example because you asked the question and the answer was I didn't think big enough. I was never taught to think big, never to take the risk. I betrayed myself by not thinking big. How
did you betray yourself if you didn't know to do that?
Because I should have discovered it.
How? How could you have discovered that if it was never put in front of you? If you were never afforded the opportunity, why do you fault yourself for that? That's not fair.
To me, that is fair, though. Because everything that we learn, no one would teach you. Sometimes you know what you have to do? Say, fuck what other people think. Stop looking for to be, accepted. Stop looking for the approval of the people around you. You can't look for the approval of the people around you who aren't where you want to be at in your life. So say, for instance, you know what? A kid can't look for his mother or father's approval who never achieved what he's trying to achieve. It'll never work because they're going to always play it safe. Their thought process is play it safe. And so I fault myself for that one, and I betrayed myself because I shouldn't have looked for the approval of other people.
I think
I shouldn't have done that. And so I blame myself for that. I betrayed me by doing that.
I think possibly once you got to a certain age, okay, I'll accept that. But as a child, high school student, no.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
as an adult.
Yeah, like early, mid-20s.
I'll give you that. Okay.
My fault.
At that point, you knew better.
Right.
I knew you then, so I know that you knew better.
Knew better.
Okay.
Can't look for the approval of nobody else.
I'll give you that.
And so I betrayed myself because I was looking for the approval of people who were not where I want to be.
Okay, so you just made a really good point there, because I know for a fact that those layers have been shed.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I know that you took them bitches up and burned them.
Uh-huh.
They can never. There's no phoenix rising there.
No, that phoenix dead.
It's dead. What John Leguizamo say? D-E-D.
D-E-D, dead.
But that's a good point. I will give you that. I think at some point you have to know when you have in some way screwed yourself over so bad that you can't recoup from it. And at that point, you stop blaming other people and start blaming yourself. You look yourself in the mirror and say, bro, how the hell did we get here? And how do I get out of this?
It's one of the issues that we face, though, Erica. Is that no one is willing to look themselves in the mirror. I said that last episode. I had to get comfortable with looking myself in the mirror. I got to be happy with what I see. Everybody out there has to be happy with what they see.
Yeah.
Because the decisions you make lead you to where you are. You have a choice. We all do. And I know it's difficult sometimes. I know it.
And it feels impossible. But
it feels impossible, but it's not.
It's not. I really wish that more people who listen to us took us seriously when we said we're here. Reach out to us. Mainly because we do not speak on anything that we have not lived through or experienced. So, if there's ever a time where people need help peeling back those layers, that's what we're here for.
And we was talking about, the whole regrets thing or not becoming what we should. You have to destroy that false identity. You have to. You got to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. You got to put in the work to uncover what's really beneath there. You know what I'm saying?
So, all right, here's my question, I guess, right? Let's take it back to the whole lone wolf real quick. If you believe something like that is your greatest strength and you made money off of it, you think you're successful, at what point do you question it?
Repeat that one more time.
Going back to the whole lone wolf thing, right? Mm-hmm. If you have made a career, if you have become successful, if in the eyes of an American, because again, different culture, right? In American culture, if you're checking off all the boxes that say you are successful, that say you are doing the things that you are supposed to do to be a thriving American, mm-hmm. How would you know to question it? How would you, what would make you think for even a moment, damn, maybe this isn't who I am, this is a false identity? How do you look at that?
I believe something has to reveal itself to you. And what I mean by that, say for instance, that part of your life might be really good. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be something else that's going to show the cracks, in the surface. There's going to be something else. So it may be, say, for instance, if you're married, maybe something's going on in the marriage. Maybe it's some type of communication issues. Maybe you can't be attentive to the needs of your wife. Maybe it's your kids. Maybe you can't be there the way that you need to be there for them. You got the money. You got all these aspects to take care of the resources. But maybe it's something inside of you that you can't provide them, that they're seeking. So, to reiterate, it's going to always be something that's going to show that I'm not good in some of these areas, that I have an issue here. And this is just my disguise. This is what I'm using to cover that up, to say that I'm not good at it. Because you know what somebody with money going to say with the resources? Well, I'm giving you this nice home, this nice house. What are you complaining about? Mm-hmm. But as people, we need more than that. Absolutely. We have needs, we have desires, we have wants. And mm-hmm. sometimes it ain't just financial what we're seeking. It's true love, compassion, being empathetic, hearing me out. You know what I'm saying?
Genuine care.
Care.
Yeah.
So it could be a multitude of things. It's different variables in this, okay? But with that being said is that there's going to always be something that shows that something was slipping through the cracks. Even if you are financially successful, it'll always show. Something will show. Okay, so, speaking of, showing your true self, being who you really are, all these things that we keep talking about. What if you're never given a chance to be that? Please. Elaborate a little bit? Mm-hmm. All right. Say, for instance, you have a kid. Okay. Who is, say he's maybe 6th, 7th grade, right? Little buddy is a phenomenal artist. But he can only be an artist at school because at home you have parents telling him, oh, son, you're going to join the family business. You're going to be a lawyer, an accountant, a doctor, whatever, right? What kind of dilemma
for self do you think something like that could create for someone?
That's going to be another form of regret, to a degree. But that kid is going to as an adult, he's going to always be seeking something. I'll say this right here. Terrence Howard said it. I've been thinking it, even before I saw it, but he said this thing right here. We're always going to be, seeking the thing that we once were in some way. Around the age 14 or 15, you start out around there. You kind of know who you are, but as time goes on, you lose yourself. You don't really know who you are anymore. You get 25, 30, then you look back and you don't even remember who you were. And so the problem is that whatever it is that we need to be, we're not trying to discover something new. We're trying to discover what we were. So what we need to be is already there in some way. As a kid, that's very hard to overcome. To say like, hey, I'm an artist. Yes, I am an artist, but if it's not curated, you know what? You're going to do what makes you the most money as a career. You're going to, because that's what we do. Hey, that don't make money. Hey, they don't make money, so no, you can't be an artist. Hey, you know what? Hey, why don't you just go ahead and be a cop or something? That puts money on the table. Hey, be a doctor. That puts money on the table. Do something that's reliable, that has good benefits. That's what we do. Okay, so that's one of the biggest issues that we face, or that kids will face, is that one day you're gonna look back, you're gonna forget who the hell you were. It's a big chance that you may not ever remember that you were the kid that loved art. And even if you try, you may not even be able to explore it the way you need to. You forgot.
You know what? Just made me think about something. Do you remember, it was a really good movie, but that movie with Jason Momoa, Slumberland?
Yeah, I do.
You remember how he became that really mean, nasty monster or whatever, right? Because he forgot who he was?
Yes.
I've never thought about it in terms of real life until right now, but he didn't remember who he was until his niece showed him a picture that he drew. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And in doing that, something changed in him. Just seeing that picture of what he drew when he was younger and watching the videos of him being silly with his brother reminded him that he wasn't this asshole monster, that he was actually really a really good guy who gave a damn about things. And based on this episode today, I think that happens to us a lot. We're often taken off of our path. And we are often forgotten. And being forgotten, it leads you to just put your head down, focus, just move forward, just move forward, just move forward. And I honestly believe that is why we have so many depressed adults out here. We're all doing shit we don't want to do.
Because we're doing what we have to do.
Not what we want to do.
Yeah, and these things we have to do, it's because of our responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got...
You got a mortgage to pay, rent to pay.
Kids to take care of, schools. We have all these aspects of our life that we have to tend to. Mm-hmm. What slips through the cracks?
We do.
Mm-hmm. For ourselves.
That's unfortunate. It really is. Or like we were discussing earlier about the hook, right? You asked a really good question when you asked, what if the part of ourselves that we are most ashamed of is our greatest strength?
Yeah.
I've never thought about that question before until you asked it.
Yeah.
Gamma rays is a hell of a thing.
Yes, it is. And shit, I wish I could take some.
No, you don't need it.
I need all of it. Give me all the gamma.
No, you don't need that. You'd be Red Hulk in this mug.
Shit, I don't know what Hulk I'd be. I'd be a Hulk, though. Obama Hulk. A mixture of abomination.
That's terrible. That's awful. Betty couldn't help you.
I mean, you are my Betty.
If any part of it was abomination, bro, I can't help you.
You got me. Look, I got faith in you.
You want me to get my Black Widow on and sing your Sundown song?
Damn right. I need it right now. I'm feeling real hawkish right now, baby.
That is hilarious.
Okay, I forgot what we were saying.
That's because you go off script all the time. You don't know how to act.
I'm tired of you blaming me for shit.
You know, I'm not. They can hear you. I don't gotta blame you for nothing. They can hear you. But no, you know, we're just saying, you know, like if you could say a part of you that you are most ashamed about, that could potentially be your greatest strength, what would it be? Like Hulk, his was his anger.
At one point, it was anger for me. At one point, it was
What is it now?
ambition.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Why are you ashamed of it?
because it makes me seem too damn arrogant.
Ooh.
That's why. Because I believe in myself that much.
You know what's funny about that though? It does make you seem arrogant, and it you can come off as an asshole sometimes. But I think that's because the people around you don't know what it's like to be that passionate about something.
No, I know it.
Because I too have called you an asshole before.
You have, and you still do.
Not for that reason, I don't.
But I have to downplay that shit a lot, though.
I call you an asshole, but don't do that. Don't have these folks thinking that. I call you an asshole, but not for that reason.
Man, look, shit, it's all right. I got rhino skin. I'm all right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm all right. I got a thick skin, so I can take that.
But you know, I do believe, you know, as we've gotten older, as I've gotten older and more mature, that is your greatest attribute. Your arrogance. It really is. That's what defines you and makes you who you are.
Yeah, and I don't, you know, it's some...
I hate how it has a negative connotation. Being arrogant is not always a bad thing.
But it has, let's put it like this. It's a bad thing, but it's a bad thing based off of the people you surround yourself with.
Oh, absolutely.
That's really what it comes down to, and I end up having to realize it. And that's why I've never stopped being ambitious or that appearance of being arrogant, because that's not the intention to be arrogant. Mm. But it turns certain people off who don't understand where you're coming from. It's a huge fucking turn off to everybody. So if people don't have that kind of love or ambition towards things, if you're not like other people, if you're not playing it safe, or you're not average, people look at you different.
Yeah, absolutely they do.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So if you're not where they are or below, people treat you totally different.
They do.
And that's the issue.
But here we go with that, right? That's their inferiority, which gives them a superiority complex, right? That is those people saying, I don't want you to be better than me, but I still want you in my presence because I feed off of you, or I learn something from you, or I need you.
That's correct.
But they can't tell you that. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's very unfortunate.
So that's the number one thing for me, though. It's definitely that ambition. I have to hide that because of the people I deal with. I'm not going to lie. I do.
You know,
But, I'll let you go. Keep going.
No, go ahead.
You're not going to get away with that, with not being able to answer that one back, because that's a good question.
Well, I mean, just thinking about it, right?
For you.
I don't know that there are any parts of me that I'm ashamed of, like currently. But you know, I've done a lot of inner work, right, to be able to accept all of me for who I am. But at one time, I would probably say it was probably my personality and the care I had for people.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
But over time, I have just learned who to give that care to.
Yeah.
Because that makes all the difference, right? Because I can't be fucking Mother Teresa out here.
Yeah, because you know what happened to Mother Teresa at the end? Even she was unhappy as hell.
She was. She died depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that hurt you in the process.
Yeah.
Early on.
It did. It broke me. That's what it did.
You gave it to the wrong people.
I did. Which is probably why now, outside of my inner circle, people have to pay for that care.
Yes, they should.
I mean, you know, I spent years just giving those parts of myself away freely. And I don't know that I would say I was ashamed of it when I was doing it. I felt ashamed and foolish after the fallout from situations happened.
Right.
So those things, yeah, that's probably it. That's what I was, easily my personality and my care for people.
Yeah, you know, self-acceptance is a hell of a thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing, but it's a hell of a thing because, say, for instance, you know, like that characteristic that you held that characteristic for a long time, but it was very hard to shed. and it was a characteristic. It was a good characteristic, but at the same time detrimental.
For me, it was.
It was detrimental at the same time. You know, but there's still who you were at your core. You just had to redefine. You redefined it a little bit.
I did a lot of bit. Shit, you ain't got to underplay it. It's okay. I can admit it.
But what happened in that process, you actually ended up shedding that.
I shed it all.
You shed it all. So what I mean is, you stopped dealing with people
for years.
Until you had to relearn what it actually meant to give it up.
I was alone for a long time. Like outside of you, I was alone. Well, shit, outside of you and Sarah, I was alone for a very long time.
Yeah,
it was years. Probably about a good 5-7 years, something like that.
But I won't lie. That even to this day, that is still one of your greatest characteristics. Even to this day,
I just had to redefine it.
Yeah.
So that it worked for me instead of against me.
Yeah, and it does, and it has worked well for you, and I'm proud of you for that one too.
Oh, thanks.
No, because I look up to you for that reason right there. Because
say it again.
I look up to you for that reason right there.
I'm so glad it's recorded.
Because I can't be that, and I'm being honest. I can't. Because I can help people, but not how you do.
Right. But you're not meant to, right?
Yeah, I'm good at helping people the way I do, but how you do it, I think is beautiful.
Thank you.
It is.
Thank you.
And that's just a part of, uncovering your real self. When you do that, you have to dig deep and uncover who you really are at your core.
But, and this is something that I think people either don't know or forget, right? Going on a journey of self-discovery is not meant to be pleasant. That shit is not meant to feel good. It is not meant to make you feel good. In my world, the spiritual world that I come from, I don't know if you remember or not, but when I was shedding all these layers and I was going through all this shit, I was telling you all the time, Courtney, I feel like I'm going crazy. Like, I can literally feel things shifting. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Can I interrupt you kind of?
Yeah.
I remember that, but you know what was really happening?
What?
It's not too much different from Neo in the Matrix.
You putting me in another movie.
I am, but I'm not going in depth about the movie. But you were shedding the illusion the same way he did.
Yeah.
That's a painful process. You were shedding the illusion, layer by layer, getting rid of it, but it was so ingrained in you that it was painful. Seeing life for what it was. You were shedding the illusion there.
And going on that journey, right, or during that process, I lost a lot. I gained a lot because I found myself, who I should have been, but I lost a lot. I lost people. I lost family members. I lost the parts of me that I thought made me, if that makes sense.
Okay. Question. Because we was, talking about these illusions. You know what I'm saying? Those parts of you that you thought were you, was that you? Or can you say that something created that?
No, I can absolutely tell you that outside influences create that. And that's why I'm very heavy on shadow work, right?
Yeah.
All of my clients, let me start with shadow work. If you can make it through shadow work, then you deserve to work with me.
Correct.
But being able to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, literally, this is what I start my clients with. Look in the mirror, look yourself eye to eye. It's very creepy when you do it. But look yourself in the mirror eye to eye and ask yourself, the fuck are we? Who are we? What happened? How did we get here? Do you want to be here? Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? If you can't answer those questions, or if you answer no to those questions, it's time to start doing some work.
My idea of this is that we're not searching for something new, but we're looking for something that is already there. So can you say what you found was not something new, but something that was already there?
For the most part, yeah.
What was it?
So I can say this, right? Me being who I am, and a lot of our listeners know me personally, right? So me being who I am, I can honestly say that the layers that I shed, they were the parts of who I am today that didn't serve me. That's it, plain and simple. It was the parts of who I am that didn't serve me well, that didn't help me out at all, and that kept me bound to traditions or schools of thought or political beliefs that I didn't even fucking believe.
Correct. You know, a big part of self-discovery is this right here. And I talk about it all the time, with you, but I've developed the program about running your life like a business because that's what we do as a family now. Mm-hmm. We run our life like a business. But a big part of this self-discovery or the lack of self-discovery is this right here, a mismanagement of oneself. Mm-hmm. This shit gets out of hand because we mismanaged ourselves for a very long time. And so say, for instance, like when you shed the illusion of yourself and it was painful for a long period of time. Well, that process was a very painful process because you mismanaged yourself for many years and you didn't even know it.
My whole life.
Correct.
Yeah.
Me too.
You ain't got to downplay it. My whole life.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is what this comes down to. We have mismanaged the fuck out of ourselves.
Yeah. But, if more people are, I don't want to put anything on anybody, but if more people are like us, you're mismanaged because you don't know any better. But, right, that's where people like we come in. That's where students of life come in.
That's what we do.
That's how we help you. We help you figure that out, and we help your A plus your B equals C, if you will.
Yeah.
And, in doing that, we can help and have helped guide people into who they should be.
Okay, so what would you like to leave the people with, today?
Normally I end these on like some high hope type of thought, right? But today I want to leave people with a few questions. It's who are you when no one is looking? Who are you when you break yourself down to your foundation? What makes you happy? If you can answer those questions, then by all means, when this is posted, put in comments. We'll talk to you about it.
Yeah.
We'll go into depth about it. You can DM me. You can DM Courtney. We'll talk to you. Hell, we can set up a video call if you need to.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
I'd absolutely set up a video call. I'll give y'all some free coaching the first time.
Only the first time, though.
Yeah, the first time. Capital FIRST time.
And these are my couple of takeaways. If you don't know who you are, someone will tell you who to be and use that power against you. And the last thing I want to leave you with, the people easiest to control are the ones that never question why they believe what they believe. Everyone, I really do appreciate you listening to the Students Life Podcast. Live and learn. Life is a lesson.